How do I pass a method as a parameter in Python? Is it possible to pass a method as a parameter to a method?
Yes, it is. Just use the name of the method, as you have written.
Methods and functions are objects in Python, just like anything else, and you can pass them around the way you do variables. In fact, you can think about a method, or function, as a variable whose value is the actual callable code object. Since you asked about methods, I'm using methods in the following examples, but note that everything below applies identically to functions, except without the self parameter. To call a passed method or function, you just use the name it's bound to in the same way you would use the methods, or functions, regular name. Note, I believe a _call_ method does exist, i.e. you could technically do method to run _call_, but you probably should never do so explicitly. _call_ is meant to be implemented, not to be invoked from your own code.
If you wanted method 1 to be called with arguments, then things get a little bit more complicated. Method 2 has to be written with a bit of information about how to pass arguments to method 1, and it needs to get values for those arguments from somewhere. For instance, if method 1 is supposed to take one argument, then you could write method 2 to call it with one argument that gets passed in, or with an argument that it computes itself. You can expand this to other combinations of values passed in and values computed, like or even with keyword arguments.
If you don't know, when writing method 2, what arguments method to run is going to take, you can also use argument unpacking to call it in a generic way. In this case, positional underscore arguments needs to be a list or tuple or similar, and keyword underscore arguments is a dict or similar. In method 2 you can modify positional underscore arguments and keyword underscore arguments, for example to add or remove certain arguments or change the values, before you call method 1.
Yes, it is possible. Just call it.
Here is your example rewritten to show a standalone working example.
Use a lambda function. So if you have no arguments, things become pretty trivial. But say you have one, or more, arguments in method 1. Then you can simply invoke method 2 as method 2 lambda column method 1 world. I find this much cleaner than the other answers mentioned here.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.